There's a short story about a guy who handles things like a boss upon finding out as clear as day that his wife was only with him for what he could provide, for his resources. And when he got sick and had cancer, apparently she thought it was a possibility he wouldn't make it, and she was planning on how to use his insurance money and all that. And obviously, when he didn't go, she wasn't very happy about that. He overhears this and handles things accordingly. And I've been going to go over here, guys, making the point that you need to really do your homework on who you marry, because a lot of gals will get with a guy for what they can provide, as well as you need to see what her family's like, because if her family's a bunch of deadbeats and losers that try to use the system and use other people, the odds are she's the same way here. And never feel bad about it, because he's having like a midlife thing, trying to wonder if he went wrong by moving on from her so quickly, blah, blah, blah. Because a lot of people actually hate his guts for what he did. It's crazy. Title: Am I the a-hole? I left my wife after I got cancer, and she wasn't supportive of me, but then moved on very quickly. And a shout out to Rick for sending this story. He says, my first wife got married. We got married when I was 20 years old. Smack! That's crazy, man. I will call her Liz for this. She was the youngest of her three sisters, and they were both older and single. She was the first to get married. Her mom was a stay-at-home mother, and her dad did not work. Then who paid the bills? I don't think they were trust fund people, and I don't think they won the lottery, so they probably just mooched off the welfare system or something like that, or other suckers. When we got together, she did a little part-time work, but I earned good money and was already renting my own place. 6 months after we got married, I had got together the money for the deposit to buy a house. We moved about an hour away from our families. We then had 4 years where I worked full-time, and she had multiple part-time positions, which never lasted for various reasons. Shocker. Where do you think she learned this behavior from? Probably her family. She married you for what you can provide. End of freaking story here. You should never have allowed that. You need somebody reliable. Can't be all on you. This put a lot of stress on our relationship. She had no interest in working and wanted to be a housewife and be kept. He says, think Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice? Okay, that was in the early 1800s. This isn't the Napoleonic Wars or that period of time here, for God's sakes. No, she can get off her fat ass and help out and work full time. This led to me taking on work where I stayed away from home for up to about 3 months at a time sometimes. We talked a bit on the phone, but she spent most of the time back at her parents visiting them. Toward the end, I found that she had started to spend our money poorly. After one job away, where I was earning in a week what I would normally get in a month, I came home to find that she had spent everything I had earned on visiting her family and paying for days out, meals out, and shopping trips for them, like we were rich. See? He rushed to marry her way too young, which is crazy. He didn't really screen or get to know her. Her family's a bunch of moochers, and there you go. And she doesn't want to work. He's busting his butt, being away for 3 months. You think that's what he wants? This guy means well. He's a solid provider, but she's a solid user. Total leech. I then got diagnosed with testicular cancer. Not life-threatening, but had to have it removed along with a bit extra on the side and a round of chemo to ensure everything was clear. I then had 5 years of checkups ahead of me. The first year was monthly. I then overheard her say to her sisters that if I had died, I would have paid off the mortgage and she would have had the life insurance money. There you go. As if her behavior didn't really give you a clear clue on why she's with you. That is horrible to hear. But then again, at this time he's 24 years old, something like that, 25 maybe. Just doing him a favor. Get rid of her. At this point, I was done. I told her we were over and we started divorce proceedings, and she did not take it well. Well, no shit, because she has to go back to square one and find some other sucker to mooch off of. She moved back home with her mom and dad, and I put the house on the market and moved into a bed flat. She would constantly ring me and come to the flat to visit me. I'd be like, don't come visit me. We're getting divorced. Get the fuck out of here. She would promise me to change, to get a steady job, and at one point even offered an open marriage. This went on for 2 years until the divorce was final. Offered an open marriage. Now this was 18 years ago, because he's telling this from now when he's like 44 years old. Open marriage. Well, I guarantee she's been having an open marriage probably the whole time. He just didn't know about it. Where I may be the a-hole, though, was a month after she left, I met this amazing woman in the world. We started talking, and after a couple months, we started dating. 2 weeks after that, we started dating when she came for a weekend to my flat. She never left, and we've now been together for 18 years. Okay, well, obviously, he was done with her. He was divorcing her. End of freaking story. And he started seeing this other woman. He should have waited till after that, but, well, it worked out, and he married her and had a good thing. Well, good for him. Well, my ex hated her. She says she broke up the marriage as we were technically still married, but as far as I'm concerned, it was over the day I moved the stuff out and that I wanted and gave her anything she asked for. Back to her parents and sold the house. I cleared all the debt from the profit of the house, which left us £3,000, and I split that with my ex. There you go. Here's your money. Well, you know what? He moved on a little too quick in my opinion, but at least it worked out. Of course, the ex is furious because, and of course, blaming her for the whole thing. The marriage didn't work out because this ex is a total user. After all was said and done, we had nothing else to split. But I lost all of our mutual friends because of moving on so fast. Even some of my friends sided with her and said I should have given her a chance and worked at saving the marriage, so I'm the a-hole. Smack! No, you're not the a-hole. Number one, you're not the a-hole because she was using you for your money and your resources. End of story. Number two, you're not the a-hole because it's been 18 years. Who cares what they think? Number three, you're not the a-hole because who cares what other people think in general? These people are rotten people. These friends are obviously more like her friends here. Now, he also says, as a little update, he says, thank you all for the responses. Just thought I'd address a couple points and questions. My family was invited to an event recently where a couple of people I would have classified as close friends back then were there. They were polite, but also made it clear that the past was not water under the bridge. Who are these freaking people? It's been 18 years. It's none of their goddamn business. And they're still holding a grudge? As most of you said, it's been 18 years. My wife is fully on my side and says I should forget it and move on. I'm not an a-hole, and you all seem to agree with her. No, dude, you're not an a-hole. I just can't say what I did was so wrong to those people to still see me that way. But I guess I never will, so shall I take your advice and leave it where it is? Thank you all. Bro, you did the right thing getting rid of it. The only thing you did wrong back then is marrying her at 20 years old and putting up with her crap, not helping provide, letting her spend all your money. But you were really young. Maybe you got married quickly because you had a bad family life before. I don't know. But you should never rush into things and screen the family. But you got rid of her once you truly overheard her and saw her true colors. Anybody has a problem with that, fuck them. Guys, life is too short to care what other people think, especially rotten people. End of story. You did the right thing. So guys, there you go. I mean, it's as clear as can be she was using him, and he heard the whole thing. But still, people like her, and there's a whole world of people like that, are there to use you. And the worst thing is, they wrote people into buying in their bullshit, you know? So, guys, who cares? If you got people in your life that are a-holes and holding grudges against you, give us a crap. And if they try any defamation or things like that on you online, well, sue them. Now, a few comments here, because to show you that everybody else is my line of thinking. One guy says, not the a-hole. She shows zero compassion and empathy on your worst time. She even wished death upon you. She is mad because things didn't go as she wished. So many years have passed to dwell on this, and you should move on with your life with no guilt. And sometimes we are the a-holes in somebody else's story. It is easy for her to see you as the villain than to self-reflect. But do the friends that are blaming you side with the story as well? Well, clearly the friends didn't get the full story here, guaranteed. Or they're just a-holes too. You know, but it's easier for her to just make him out to be the bad guy here and justify it some capacity than accept blame, women and accountability. Another guy says, not the a-hole. Your ex wanted a wedding and a lifestyle, not a husband or partner. She only offered to change when she saw the consequences to her actions. It probably wouldn't have lasted, and she was likely going to be on good behavior long enough to get her ducks in a row to file divorce against you. You need emotional support because you didn't get it from her. You lucked out with your current wife. Don't overthink it 18 years later. If they're harping on you about it, it's likely because your ex is still single. No one is willing to put up with your ex's games, and her family is not your fault. Block the so-called friends. You are still advocating for your ex, and they are not your friends. So clearly he ran into him, like you said, and he's now wondering, like, holy crap, it's been 18 years. Am I really the bad guy here? He's having like a midlife type of thing. No. Guys, you can't care. And last comment, because the whole comment section, people are supporting this guy. This guy says the marriage was over. All that was left was the legal paperwork. You had no interest in reconciling with someone who was clearly only with you to escape poverty. And I can't fault you for moving on. That cold calculating comment of paying off the house with your death made her badly hidden feelings glaringly obvious. People in healthy relationships don't wish for their partner's death to enrich themselves. Your former friend sucked. A real friend would not punish you for divorcing, even if they are choosing the opposite. It would not surprise me if many of your former friends were deeply unhappy with their relationships. There you go, misery loves company. Those people probably felt like they couldn't escape their misery like you did. Envy is a nasty emotion, especially when paired with regret and misery. You're definitely better off without negative people like that in your life. There is no virtue in suffering for someone who wouldn't care if you died. Thank you. So, there you go, guys. Be careful who you invite into your life. Be careful who you get involved with. And be aware of people out there to use you. And you can't ever care if people that you cut off from your life or make choices for you have problems with you. Life is too short. Who cares what people think? But not everybody's wired that way, so good for him.